This simple task, change, thought process, mindset completely changed my photography career. For 10 years, I worked as a photographer, jobbing photographer, did okay, made it by, and then having done this one thing, my entire career changed. I went from sort of shooting local work to shooting worldwide ad campaigns. And yes, it's not always that easy for everyone to do this bit. It just happened to fall into place for me. But let's go through what this is. Although I'll get a lot of hate for this in the comments, the simple fact of the matter is, to make good money in photography, you have to work at a high end. There are no mid-range photographers making long-term careers. It's not sustainable. I know, I tried it, I burnt out. You can either be shooting really cheap with huge volume in a studio, doing pack shots and the likes, or shooting big campaigns. Being that middle of the road photographer is just not a sustainable lifestyle. You might think it is now, but 5 years' time when you stopped, probably not. In order to be a successful high-end photographer, you have to have a style, a voice, something which says, this was shot by this person, for several reasons. One, we're artists, we're supposed to. And two, for marketing purposes, it is dynamite. When I walk into a room and goes, what do you do? I do these bold, graphic, pop art style images. Then they see my work, they remember it. If I go, I shoot a bit of this, shoot a bit of that, do some of this, a little bit of that, oh, you know, bit of everything. They're like, yeah, cool. See you later. They have no idea who I am. I must have work that only looks like my work and stands out. If it looks like anybody else's work, it's of no use to me. So what is it I did? What is it I do? So the whole thing comes to this. My entire body of work today is created because of this one concept. Close your eyes. Imagine you can only take one photograph. You're allowed one photograph only in your portfolio, and it has to sum up you as a photographer. Mine's going to pop up on the screen now, so you can open those peepers. This is the core of your work. This one photograph is the core of your work. This is your business card, your calling card, your identity. This one photograph says, this is who I am artistically. Once you've worked out what that one photograph is, everything else becomes easier. So if you take my one photograph and then you dive into my commercial work, you'll start to see it all looks like this one photograph. I'm not saying it's all the same shot. It obviously isn't. It all has the same vibe. I hate using the word vibe because I'm too old to say it, but it does have the same vibe. It all feels cohesive. It looks like it came from one person's brushstroke. And that is the pinnacle, the holy grail of photography portfolios. Building a cohesive, commercially viable body of work is what it is all about. So now you've worked out what that one photograph would be. I'm going to talk you through my work and hopefully you can relay it into your image. We take my photograph. It's playful, it's colourful, it's bold, and it is crucially simple. A lot of my work is about how can I get this across to you in the simplest way possible. Not what's the most complex lighting scenario, composition or whatever. It is how can I tell you this story as simply as possible. It is using colours from my childhood. It is using things from my childhood. Not always, but often. If I'm talking about the essence of what I do, it is bold, it is punchy, it has got midday summer sunlight. That is my work. Now, of course, sometimes people ask you to shoot something slightly off that. It might be, we want the colours, we want the punch, but we want some gourmet food. We want the colours, we want the punch, but we want some cool vintage furniture. We want all of this, but we want it to be in a swimming pool. Whatever it may be, that is what your work will be built from. And it is so liberating once you do this. Because if someone passes me an item and goes, can you photograph this? I know what it's going to look like. And because my work is so cohesive, people will fly from around the world to work with us because they'll be like, we want Scott to shoot this how Scott shoots it. His style is what we want. Now, of course, and this is what you were worrying about, loads of people don't want it. Most people in the world do not want my style of work, but those who do will pay a premium. And that premium is better than doing a bit of everything. It equates to more money, by far. It equates to a better career, and it equates to being treated better as a creative. It's very rare I come off set thinking I was really mistreated here. But when I was the jack of all trades, I constantly felt like people were scamming me on prices, treating me badly, making me do more than we'd agreed. Everything was a nightmare. Whereas now, it's a much more pleasant working environment. We still have the odd client who's perhaps new, or like they're not used to that level of work and they've made a few faux pas, but I let it slide because it's not my day to day. If you want to learn more about this, I have a workshop about creating a commercially viable body of work. I'll pop it in the link below. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.